Welcome to another video. This time we're going to be doing we're going to go into an article that was sent out from one of the brothers. This article was sent out from the elder Hawaii from GMS, North Carolina, Raleigh, North Carolina. All right. The water to the big bro for sending out this article on the chat. I actually clicked onto it and I wanted to go into it and make a quick video. So all praise to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, and double honor to the apostles and the elders of GMS. Shalom to the hopeful elect. And this video will be entitled Trump Converts 23 Giant Warehouses into ICE Detention Centers. Okay. And this goes right in line with prophecy. You know, this could be a big deal. It may be nothing, but it could be a big deal. We've been talking about the FEMA camps, the end time concentration camps, all right, for a long time. And lately you've seen the elder apostles, you know, a lot of the information that they brought out to us when we first learned the truth. They're now revisiting that. You know, we got a lot of videos dealing with the mark of the beast, with Codex Magica, with FEMA camps, with, you know, the end time scenarios. So this goes right into it with the end time scenarios. Recently I had brought up myself the red list, the blue list, and the yellow list. Right now, I did a video some years ago, and it's been since been removed by YouTube. And I looked all over for this video, but I only found it in one place. And every time I re-upload it, they take it down. So this is from the brother's channel, GMS Tanzania 144, and he uploaded this 6 years ago. It's a video that I did. The video is entitled FEMA Camp, FEMA Coffins, and Red List, Blue List, and Yellow List. As you can see here, it was from GMS Narrator SC, which has been a long time. That video has been took down for, that channel has been a long time removed. Just to give you a quick listen. Let's see if it. All right, I want to say all praise to the Most High Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. Double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Enough respect to the brothers teaching and preaching the truth worldwide. This lesson is going to be entitled FEMA Camps, FEMA Coffins, Red List, Yellow List, Blue List. Right. And I'll try to make sure to remember to put a link to this video. But it goes, you know, we've been talking about this stuff for a long time. Before we get into that article dealing with Trump, I'll try to remember to put a link to this video in the description. I know that if I re-upload it, they're going to take it down. So what I did was it's hard to find information anymore on this red list, blue list, yellow list, but we're going to read it briefly, you know, a little bit of information about it. Now, this is a website that I just kind of Googled it. And after a few tries, I was able to get a little something on this. So I just want to read a portion of this. Now, this article is labeled dated Wednesday, September 14th, 2016. So we're in 2026. This is 10 years ago. So it says, quote, things you never knew about FEMA. And I think FEMA stands for Federal Emergency Management Association. Yeah. Anyway, things you never knew about FEMA. Red list, blue list, yellow list, black list. Are you on FEMA's kill list? So when you go into, we'll read a little bit here. It says, we have to look at all the evidence and try to see the bigger picture. Could all of this information be real and true, or are these just more conspiracy theories? Yes and no. There are many truths weaved in between lies and misconceptions. Many things that people believe are simply not true, and many things people do not want to believe are very true. Look into HR 645, FM 319.40, Rex 84, Operation Garden Plot, Operation Cable Splicer, CILFs, Civilian Inmate Labor Facilities, and Military Police Internment Resettlement Operations. Now, recently, talks came back up about the Rex 84, Operation Garden Plot, and Operation Cable Splicer. You should look up those different, government resolutions, House resolutions, and whatnot. It says, because these are the real subjects to research and discuss. I have been accused of trying to scare the population with this book But in reality, I'm only presenting news that I have researched in one place for the world to see. All right. A little more, it says all of my resources, Salakia, damn it. All of my resources are listed on at the end of this book for you, the reader, to research and validate or debunk. Now, I will say that these red list, blue list stories have been circulating for well over 20 years now, and that would be 30 years because that'd be 20 years. Oh no, that'd be 30 years because the 20 years at the time this was written, plus the 10 years ago that we actually go back to this article. It was 20 years at the time this was written, but you can add 10 more years to it. So for 30 years now. Now, I will say that these red list, blue list stories have been circulating for well over 20 years now, and a lot of these supposed prison train cars reported to be equipped with benches and shackles that I personally have seen are simply just car haulers with ramps for the cars to sit on, and the chains are to keep them tied down in place. Right. Believe it if you want to. Anyway, going right into it, red list, blue list, yellow list, black list. We are all on a red or blue list somewhere. Those on the red list will be woken at 4 a.m. and taken to the camps and probably killed. Red list. These people, come on, baby. Red list. These people are enemies of the NWO. They are the leaders of patriot groups, outspoken ministers, outspoken talk show hosts, community leaders, and even probably NET leaders. These people will be dragged out of their homes at 4 a.m. and will be taken to FEMA detention centers and killed. This will take place approximately 2 weeks before martial law is enforced. And all this information, take it with a grain of salt. You can believe it or not. Chew the meat and spit out the bones. Blue list, these are also enemies of the NWO, but are followers of the red list folks. These people will be rounded up after martial law is in place and will be taken to the detention centers and re-educated. Various mind control techniques will be used on them. Most will not survive this. Mr. Springmeyer was not specific on exactly who was on the blue list, but I would guess that people such as you and I are on that list. Yellow list, these are citizens who know nothing about the NWO and don't want to know. They are considered to be no threat at all and will be instructed as to how to behave and will most likely do whatever they are told. Unfortunately, there are too many of these to be effectively controlled, so many will be killed or starved. Blacklist. I have recently heard that the red and blue lists have been combined into one and is called the blacklist. All blacklisted citizens will be marked for execution. You see that? So I just want to kind of get into that a little bit and read it to you. There's more here that can be read, but I will try to remember to give you a link to this article as well. All right. And we're just gonna go into the other article now. So you can see, we didn't make it up. The red list, blue list, black list, yellow list, and all of that. Hey, we didn't make it up. All right, those things really existed. Now, this is from February 1st, 2026. Trump converts 23 giant warehouses into ICE detention centers. You can see a picture here. This article reads, the violent clashes that are causing so much chaos in the streets of our major cities aren't going to stop. Tens of thousands of anti-ICE activists have already been recruited and more are joining the ranks with each passing day. At this stage, the only thing that could put a lid on the volcano of fury that we are witnessing would be if President Trump decided to pull ICE out of all your cities and stop deportations. Of course, there is no way that is going to happen. And I just got word, I just saw it on the chat as well as on YouTube that shoot doggone you know what? Let's go over here and see if we can find that. Oh, you know what? No, I'm not gonna try to find it. That Trump is that the temporary order of protection for all these Haitian immigrants is just expired. So hey, you don't know. So-called black people, Latinos, Native Americans, Haitians, island people, you could be rounded up as well as even us. You just never know nowadays, man. Excuse me. It goes on. It says, in fact, as you will see below, Trump is now converting 23 enormous warehouses around the country into giant ICE detention centers. And this article is from the End Time Headlines. If I didn't say that, End Time Headlines. It says the goal is to deport 1 million immigrants per year. And that means that the war between ICE and anti-ICE protesters is just getting started. Woo! So, it's a short article. We can try to read the rest of it. It says, I have always warned that civil unrest would be one of the key elements of the perfect storm that our society would be forced to endure. And now we have reached a stage where the civil unrest never seems to stop. Excuse me. It says on Friday, law enforcement authorities used pepper balls and tear gas to disperse a mob of violent agitators that had gathered in front of the federal detention center in Los Angeles. Los Angeles police arrested multiple violent agitators after issuing dispersal orders as protests erupted across the city Friday evening. Thousands of protesters met in front of City Hall in the afternoon before many marched to the federal detention center, where a mob of violent agitators swarmed the area, pushing a large construction dumpster and blocking the entrance to the building's loading dock. You know what? I'm not going to read all this shit. So, you can actually open it up and read more. It says here, read more. I don't know how much more there is. That actually opens up into a whole nother article. But let's go back here. If it will go back. And you can easily see, hey, this thing could, go into something worse. It could die down altogether and then something else arise in the future. But prophetically, there are warnings that there will be end time sort of prisons or, concentration camps. This is Revelation chapter 2, verse 10. We always read this. It says, fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison. Right? So what are these, this could easily be like some of those prisons. And you can also Google concentration camps, FEMA concentration camps, as used to show an article that there are over 800 built already and ready to go. And that's been years ago. So I'm sure there are more now. Again, fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison, that ye may be tried. And ye shall have tribulation 10 days. Be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee a crown of life. Now we know the majority of that is for the Israelites, right? Because during Jacob's trouble, this is what you can see happen. You're going to see individuals being taken to these FEMA camps, right? Chipping stations set up, as we talk about the MOTB, the mark of the beast. And we know that those who won't receive the mark are going to be faced with death, or could potentially be faced with death. That's when you got the hour of temptation. Let's go there real quick. Revelation 3 and 10 we'll read. So as that last scripture said, some of you shall be cast into prison by the devil. Who is the devil? Esau, the so-called white man. But we're really talking about the upper echelon of the elites, which is the illuminated ones, right? The illuminated ones, the Illuminati, the international bankers. But they got all the rest of you devils here to do their bidding for them. Please excuse me. So this is Revelation 3 and 10. It says, because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I will also keep thee from the hour of temptation which shall come upon all the world to try them that dwell upon the earth. What does this mean? The hour of temptation is when the mark will be made mandatory. And you're going to be tempted whether to take it or not. Now, the Lord says, when he says he's going to keep you from the hour of temptation, it just means he's going to give you the power to get through it. Because when you read in the NLT, it says, because you have obeyed my command to persevere, I will protect you from the great time of testing that will come upon the whole world to test those who belong to this world. See that? And we know we are going to go through a trial. You're not going to avoid the trial. The NIV says, since you have kept my command to endure patiently, I will also keep you from the hour of trial that is going to come on the whole world to test the inhabitants of the earth. See that? It says what? I will also keep you from it. But like we read in the NLT, I will protect you from it. See? So that we're gonna go through the great tribulation. Okay, we gotta go through it because when you read in Matthew, let's go there. 24. Come on, baby. When you go to Matthew 24, down here in verse 21, this is what it says. It says, for then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, no, nor ever shall be. And except those days should be shortened, there shall no flesh be saved. But for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened. Why? Why are the days going to be shortened for the elect's sake? If they're not going to be here, because they're going to be here. Matter of fact, you read in Matthew 24 and 29, it says immediately after the tribulation of those days, that's when the Lord is going to come back. You see? So we're going to move on. I got another one from the Old Testament. We know a time of intense persecution is going to arise. This is Jeremiah 6 and 10. And it reads, to whom shall I speak and give warning that they may hear? Behold, their ear is uncircumcised and they cannot hearken. Behold, the word of the Lord is unto them a reproach. They have no delight in it. See, the word of the Lord unto these 2/3 ass niggas, they don't want to hear what we saying. I just made a video earlier. This nigga, niggas always running their mouth, bumping their gums about the Hebrew Israelites. They have no desire to hear the word of the Lord. It says, therefore I am full of the fury of the Lord. I am weary with holding in. And y'all please excuse me. It says, I am weary with holding in. I will pour it out upon the children abroad and upon the assembly of young men together. For even the husband with the wife shall be taken, the aged with him that is full of days. And their houses shall be turned unto others, with their fields and their wives together. See? And if you read in these different HR resolutions and stuff they got a bill known as the NDAA bill, and it's broken down in segments where they can confiscate your property, your fields, your cars, your bank accounts, your this and your that. And their houses shall be turned into others, with their fields and their wives together. For I will stretch out my hand. I will stretch out my hand upon the inhabitants of the land, saith the Lord. Now up here when it says, for the husband with the wife shall be taken, and the age with him that is full of days. So see, they're going to grab people up, take you out of your houses, and all kind of stuff. It's in the scriptures. And we've been warning about this stuff for a long time. And Bible prophecy matches what these people have on the books. Bottom line. Now we go here. This is 2 Ezra chapter 15 and verse 14. It says, woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up to fight against another, and swords in their hands. This is civil unrest. It says, for there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. What is sedition? That's uprisings against the government. If you look at the word search sedition, let's see what we get, if it gives us anything. And it's kind of taking its time, but we'll see. So we'll just keep reading. It says, for there should be sedition among men and invading one another. They should not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. Okay. And we just forget about it. You can look up sedition in your own time. It says, a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. So you see here, people are not going to be listening to their governing authorities. They're going to be doing what's right in their own eyes. Now here it says, a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. Right? What is that? That's martial law. That's different roadblocks being set up. You're going to desire to leave the city. Those that are in the city going to want to leave. They're not going to be able. Those that want to go into the country, they're going to want to leave the city and go into the country. They're not going to be able to. Those that want to leave the country, go into the city, they're not going to be able to. It says, for because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, The houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. And man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword, and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. So you can easily see a time of great intense drama going on the earth. All kind of shit going on. You see, so it's going to be a very fluid situation during Jacob's trouble. I just wanted to kind of hit you with a little teaser, give you a little bit of information, and then that's that. So watch out there. We don't know how fast shit gonna move, but at some point, this society could shut down, the mark of the beast be implemented, famine of the word could hit, Jacob's trouble full force. So we'll see. All right, but until then, stay up out there. We'll see you soon, Lord willing. All right, all praise to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. Shalom.